Courtship, Chaos, and Conspiracies. Kaida woke to the now familiar sound of knocking on her door. This time, however, it wasn't Soren's composed rap or Darian's irritatingly cocky taps. The knock was hesitant, almost timid, as if the person behind it wasn't sure they wanted her to answer. "Whoever it is," Kaida groaned, dragging herself out of bed. "This better be important, or come with coffee." When she opened the door, she was greeted by Ulrich, the bumbling young voidborn mage, who had a tendency to accidentally set things on fire. He held a bouquet of glowing flowers, their petals shimmering with faint purple light. His face was as red as the apples Kaida hadn't seen since arriving in this world. "Good morning, champion," he stammered, thrusting the bouquet forward so fast that Kaida almost flinched. "These are for you, as a token of my admiration." Kaida blinked, taking a moment to process the scene. Thanks?" She accepted the bouquet awkwardly, holding it as if it might explode. Knowing Ulrich, it probably could. I've been watching you," Ulrich continued, his words tumbling out in a nervous rush. "Not in a creepy way, just, from afar. And I think you're amazing. Strong, beautiful, and..." Kaida raised a hand, stopping him mid-sentence. "Ulrich, breathe. You're going to hyperventilate." The young mage took a deep breath, his shoulders relaxing slightly. "I just wanted to say, if you ever need someone by your side, I'm here. For you. Always." Kaida opened her mouth to respond, but before she could, a familiar voice interrupted from down the hall. "Bold move, Ulrich," Darian drawled, leaning casually against the wall with a smirk. "But you might want to work on your delivery. You're coming off a little desperate." Ulrich turned bright red, stammering incoherently as Darian approached. Kaida sighed, handing the bouquet back to Ulrich. "Thanks for the flowers, but maybe next time, try not to make it so intense." Ulrich nodded quickly, clutching the bouquet like a lifeline. "Yes, of course. I'll just go now." He scurried off, leaving Kaida and Darian alone in the hallway. "Do you have to antagonize everyone?" Kaida asked, crossing her arms. "It's not my fault you attract idiots," Darian replied with a grin. "Though I'll admit, watching him crash and burn was the highlight of my morning." Kaida rolled her eyes. "What do you want, Darian? I doubt you're here to exchange pleasantries." He leaned closer, his crimson eyes gleaming with mischief. "Actually, I was wondering if you'd spar with me again. You've got potential, princess, but you're still too predictable." Kaida shoved him back. "Predictable? I wiped the floor with you last time." Darian chuckled. "If that's what helps you sleep at night." Kaida's morning banter was cut short when Leora appeared, her expression as cold and serious as ever. "Kaida, we have a problem." "Of course we do," Kaida muttered. "What now? Another relic? A surprise assassination attempt?" "Spies," Leora said simply. "We caught 2 Lightbringer infiltrators sneaking around the western perimeter. They're being held in the dungeons." Kaida frowned. "Lightbringers? Here? How'd they even find us?" "We're not sure," Leora admitted. "But one of them claims to have information for you specifically. Something about your role as champion." Kaida exchanged a glance with Darian, who had lost his usual smirk. "That doesn't sound like a trap at all," he said dryly. "Let's go," Kaida said, grabbing her staff. "If they're lying, I'll know." The fortress dungeon was as dreary as Kaida had expected. Damp stone walls, flickering torches, and an overwhelming smell of mildew. The 2 Lightbringer spies were locked in separate cells. One was a wiry man with a perpetually nervous expression, while the other was a tall woman whose calm demeanor bordered on unnerving. The woman looked up as Kaida entered, her piercing blue eyes meeting Kaida's without hesitation. "So, you're the infamous champion," she said, her voice smooth and measured. "You're not what I expected." Kaida raised an eyebrow. "Funny. I was about to say the same thing about you." The woman smiled faintly. "My name is Amara. I came here to talk, not to fight." Kaida activated Truth Gaze, her vision sharpening as she scanned Amara's expression. To her surprise, there was no deception. Whatever Amara wanted, she believed it was genuine. "All right," Kaida said, leaning against the bars of the cell. "Talk. Why are you here?" Amara's expression grew serious. "The Lightbringers are planning something bigger than this war. They've discovered a way to harness voidborn energy to create a new weapon, one that could wipe out your entire faction in one strike. Kaida's heart sank. And you're just handing this information over. What's the catch? I want asylum, Amara said without hesitation. I don't agree with the Lightbringer's methods anymore. And if you're as powerful as they say, you might actually stand a chance of stopping them. Kaida turned to Soren, who had been silent until now. Thoughts? She's telling the truth, Soren said reluctantly, but that doesn't mean she's trustworthy. Darien stepped forward, his sword resting casually on his shoulder. She's a Lightbringer. They're good at playing the long game. For all we know, this could be part of their plan. Kaida nodded. Maybe, but if she's right, we can't afford to ignore her. She turned back to Amara. Fine, you get asylum for now, but if you so much as blink wrong, Darien here will be the first to know. Amara inclined her head. Fair enough. Kaida sighed, already dreading the fallout from her decision. Leora, keep an eye on her. I don't want her out of your sight. Leora nodded. Understood. As Kaida left the dungeon, she couldn't shake the feeling that she had just set something dangerous into motion. Whether Amara was a spy, a defector, or something in between, one thing was certain. The stakes were getting higher, and the lines between friend and foe were starting to blur.